In the immense expanse of the Caribbean Sea, just off the coast of Costa Rica, sits the enigmatic and pristine island of Isla de la Luna. This intriguing island is still uninhabited, undisturbed by contemporary civilization. It has grabbed the attention of explorers and academics over the years, luring them in with the promise of teeming marine life beneath its peaceful waters. Nicole "Nikki" Carter is a daring explorer, a fearless marine biologist whose love of sharks matches her unquenchable hunger for knowledge and curiosity with unsolved undersea mysteries. Nikki sets her sights on a legendary species reported to frequent these waters in 2008, a gigantic great white shark. Nikki is motivated to dispel falsehoods and shed light on the truth, aided by a dedicated research team armed with cutting-edge equipment and an insatiable hunger for knowledge. The trip begins when Nikki and her crew set off on the deep Voyager, a robust kayak led by the seasoned and unflappable Drew Hastings. The morning is peaceful as they travel deeper into the world of sharks, an oceanic zone as vast and mysterious as the universe. As they go further away from the serene coastlines, the island fades into a mere shadow on the horizon. As night falls, the crew prepares to sleep, but Nikki longs to be fully immersed in the embrace of the water. She chooses to camp on a neighboring uninhabited islet. A crescent moon hangs above the sky, throwing a lovely illumination on the calm waters below. Nikki had no idea that the reports of the enormous great white shark had piqued the interest of more than just her scientific curiosity. Locals, who have long viewed the legendary creature as a protector of their waters, are concerned about the impact of Nikki's quest to realize a lifetime goal. Nikki finds solace in the smooth rocking motion of her kayak throughout the night, allowing her to sleep comfortably. Images of scientific achievements merge with the murmuring of the waves in her dreams, whispering tales of old legends. The gigantic great white shark glides easily beneath the dark seas, an ancient predator encapsulating the very essence of the ocean. Its keen senses detect the presence of an unknown monster overhead. An unexplainable disturbance ripples through the ocean in the early hours of the morning. The deep Voyager gently sways as though rocked by invisible hands. Drew is startled by the strange sensation and hurries to the deck to investigate. The crew looks down into the murky depths, attempting to make sense of the unknown happening. Nikki awakens on a nearby island, uneasy, as if an unseen presence is watching her every step. She initially dismisses her concerns, attributing them to an overactive imagination, and relies entirely on scientific data. Nikki and her team prepare to restart their research as the sun rises, casting a golden glow across the horizon. But the sea has other plans. A huge force surges from the depths, knocking Nikki's kayak over. As they watch the chaos develop in front of them, the deep Voyager crew panics. Nikki is battling for her life in the sea, bewildered and gasping for air. She notices a massive shadow moving beneath her in a split second, and panic grips her heart. She meets the ocean's most enigmatic creature, the famous great white shark, who reveals itself to her. Drew dives into the waves to save Nikki, as other crew members toss life buoys and ropes to help those in need. The great white shark circles around, neither attacking nor running but observing and intrigued by the humans in its domain. As Drew takes Nikki to safety, Nikki looks down into the ocean's depths, where she meets the piercing gaze of the gigantic great white shark. Nikki suddenly realized something. The shark is more than an animal. It protects the wild, representing nature's uncontrolled fury. Despite the terrifying close encounter, Nikki develops a deep regard and understanding for the famous shark. She learns that not everything can be controlled or fully comprehended, and that some mysteries are designed to stay unexplained. This life-changing encounter molds her into a more humble and compassionate scientist. On board the deep Voyager, the crew muses on their once-in-a-lifetime encounter with the enigmatic shark. They are all strongly moved by natural phenomena beyond human knowledge, and a shared sense of awe links them. The sun sets below the horizon as the deep Voyager cruises away from Isla de la Luna, turning the sky pink and orange. Nikki is fully aware that the great white shark will continue to wander free, an untamed sentinel of the wild oceans, a tribute to the immense powers of nature, and a reminder that certain questions are best left unexplained. During the summer of 2005, Dr. Amelia Monroe and Dr. Jack Porter were immersed in the distant and intriguing realm of the Farallon Islands. These islands, a poetic place where the waves shimmered like an ever-changing canvas, portrayed tales of wild splendor. Amelia, a well-known figure in the field of marine biology, considered the great white shark a magnificent enigma, believing it to be endowed with a mind comparable to her own. Her intense quest for information drove her on an intellectual journey that paralleled the delicate twists and turns she wanted to understand within the ocean currents. Jack, her counterpart in this complicated dance of predators and prey, utilized his knowledge gracefully and accurately, navigating the depths like a maestro. As their minds fused amidst the expanse of the ocean, their study excursion became a mental symphony. As dusk came over the horizon, Amelia and Jack set out on a nighttime adventure beneath the surface, hoping to discover the ocean's heartbeat while looking for indications of life in its depths. As they descended deeper into the ocean's obsidian depths, their thoughts were entwined with the calming beat of the waves. They unraveled the mysteries of the underwater realm, where ethereal ballets performed by great white sharks unfurled before their awakened eyes, illuminated by flashlight beams. Amelia's senses were captivated as the profound mysticism of the ocean's nocturnal symphony mingled with the stunning celestial spectacle above. Her never-ending quest for information had left her physically exhausted, and she found brief respite in the gentle cradle of an inflatable kayak beneath the massive canopy of stars. Amelia's consciousness faltered as she teetered on the verge of rest, avoiding the constant search for information for a little while. The kayak, a transitory watercraft, is a metaphor for human fragility amid untamed magnificence, linking the tangible and the mental. A dangerous predator, a living relic of ancient grandeur, spotted the slumbering figure atop the kayak, unbeknownst to Amelia, far below in the unfathomable depths. The great white shark, propelled by forces beyond human comprehension, detected Amelia's regular cadence and the slight scent of life floating on the currents. The apex predator came closer to the vessel, negotiating the limitations of its instincts and thoughts. Amelia felt a stirring in her mind, like a whisper encouraging her to awaken from the beautiful realm of dreams. Her eyelids fluttered open, and she was caught up in an old ritual, a link between the inquiring human mind and nature's wild, uncontrolled magnificence. The great white shark surged at the kayak with no malice or intent in that interstice of moments. It was an encounter driven by forces beyond comprehension. From a safe distance, Jack recognized the fundamental significance of this encounter. A beautiful display of symbiosis unfolding in front of his eyes. A vision of mystical grandeur formed as the kayak became the bridge between Amelia's intellectual endeavors and the elemental realm of the predator. The predator's fearsome form ripped through the oceans with a symphony of primal strength. Yet Amelia felt not fear but a profound wordless understanding, a knowledge of the inherent bond between humans and the untamed wilderness. As she returned to the research vessel, Amelia's spirit shined with renewed reverence, her brush with the wild world beneath the seas exposing previously concealed parts of her character. It proved that life's fabric could accommodate intellectual depth and emotional responsiveness without losing integrity. Amelia and Jack's revolutionary findings ushered in a new era of marine conservation in the following years. Their story echoed through intellectual circles, touching the hearts and minds of people sensitive to nature's enigmas. Once a modest vessel, the kayak has developed into a timeless symbol of life's complexities, the interplay of vulnerability and brilliance, the union of untamed wisdom and enlightened intelligence, all intertwined in the enigmatic dance of predators in the spooky depths. Sophie Turner and her study team set out on an exciting scientific excursion down the scenic South African coast in 2006 aboard their research vessel, SeaQuest. The intriguing waters off the wild coast, abounding with elusive great white sharks, were their destination. The team's enthusiasm grew as the moon's ethereal glow illuminated the turbulent waves, exposing the secrets that awaited them. Sophie's emotions were a mix of excitement and apprehension. As a scientist, she was suspicious of the famous shark stories circling in these seas. Dr. Benjamin Hart, an experienced marine biologist, promised her that this expedition would set new standards in their profession. They were accompanied by Luke Jacobs, a dedicated intern anxious to distinguish himself, and Captain Alex Reynolds, a seasoned sailor intimately acquainted with the oceans. As they approached the investigation site, their excitement grew. The research team methodically arranged underwater cameras and monitoring devices to examine the sharks' nocturnal activities. The mood on board was one of admiration and enthusiasm for the wild beauty of the sea. As the night grew darker, the team prepared to observe. Sophie, dressed in her diving gear, requested Luke's assistance in immersing herself in the frigid ocean. The alluring aura of the distant moonlight added to their excitement about the undersea realm. While Sophie investigated beneath the waves, Dr. Hart meticulously watched the ship's data. Captain Alex maintained a close eye on the horizon. The research team found an unusual tendency over time. Great white sharks were more forceful and active at night than during the day. Sophie's excitement was palpable, as seen by her rising pulse rate as she recorded her findings. Their peace was broken when Captain Alex noticed an unexpected disturbance. A drifting kayak with no trace of its occupant piqued his interest. Sophie and Luke scoured the area for clues while Captain Alex steered the boat towards the kayak. Sophie's heart sank as she saw a life jacket entangled in the kayak's paddles and oars. She communicated through a trembling murmur that someone had been present in the vicinity, but was no longer there. The team's uneasiness grew, leading them to broaden their search. Despite hours of searching, they discovered no trace of the missing kayaker. The night engulfed them in an unearthly calm, pushing them to return to the fishing village at dawn to report the alarming discovery. Sophie felt uneasy as she boarded the boat for the second time. She couldn't help but wonder if the local legends held any truth. Was the fabled marine protector involved in this mysterious disappearance? Back in the community, word of the missing kayaker spread like wildfire. Villagers flocked around the team, telling stories of the fabled white shark and spooky apparitions that haunted the coast. Sophie listened carefully to the stories and determined that folklore strongly influenced the peasants' beliefs. Sophie persuaded the team to continue their inquiry because she was determined to get answers. This time they pitched up a tent on the shore to get a better view of the great white sharks. Dr. Hart hypothesized the presence of a concealed cave or underwater canal could be a gathering site for sharks at night. Sophie's gaze was fixated on the darkening ocean as the sun set. Her stomach tightened with nervous anticipation and excitement as she realized the magnitude of their task. They were witness to a captivating and terrifying spectacle that evening. The great white sharks gathered below the water's surface as if taking part in an ancient ritual, appearing under an unknown force's control. The fantastic beasts' synchronized movements inspired both awe and horror. Sophie noticed a strange behavioral trend in one of the sharks during the night. It patrolled around the cliffs as if guarding something hidden there. Her ardent curiosity drove her to investigate further. She ventured into the depths and spotted a partially hidden underwater tunnel, which gave her chills because it could be the den of the mythical white shark. Her mind was filled with wonder and astonishment at the unknown universe before her. While Sophie investigated the cave, Luke and Dr. Hart worried about her safety aboard the boat. Their relief was evident when she returned unharmed, but they awaited her discoveries with bated breath. Sophie whispered that she believed something ancient existed within the depths. She thought there was a reason why the sharks kept returning to this cave. Her eyes enlarged with delight. As the night wore on, Sophie became more confident in her conclusions and made plans to return to the tunnel during the day with more advanced equipment to investigate the cause of the shark's unusual behavior. The squad prepared for their most dangerous expedition yet the following day. Sophie and Luke rushed headfirst into the water, determined to continue their study of the cave, methodically documenting their findings. To their surprise, they discovered a hidden underwater cavern filled with ancient antiques, statues, and offerings. This incredible discovery was well beyond their expectations. The cave appeared to be a hallowed site where generations of ocean guardians had paid their homage. The team reviewed the data with awe and excitement back on the boat. The information revealed that the cave was surrounded by ancient rituals and spiritual importance, attracting great white sharks to this mysterious spot. As their investigation into shark behavior advanced, Sophie felt an ever-increasing connection with the sharks. she understood that sharks were integral to the region's culture and not just mindless predators. The news of their remarkable discovery quickly circulated throughout the scientific community, enthralling fans and professionals worldwide. The modest fishing village was transformed into a thriving center for cultural exchange and scientific research. Sophie and her colleagues worked tirelessly in the following weeks to learn more about the great white sharks in the Mystery Cave. They worked with local historians, anthropologists, and marine scientists to decipher the perplexing link between sharks and ancient ceremonies. The locals warmed up to Sophie and her colleagues as their research continued, understanding that their work could help conserve and celebrate their rich cultural heritage. The researchers were no longer regarded as intruders, but as keepers of precious information. Sophie and her team's study culminated in the preparation and execution of a ritual ceremony to honor the great white sharks and the spiritual legacy of the cave. The ceremony, led by local wise men and women, resurrected old prayers and chants that had yet to be heard in years. Both the villagers and the researchers actively participated, establishing a link between contemporary research and time-honored traditions. A surprising occurrence occurred during the ceremony. The chanting summoned a majestic great white shark from the depths, pulling it closer to the surface. The shark circled the boat gracefully as though respecting the continuity of the past and present. Sophie was struck with awe as she peered upon the fabled guardian. She couldn't help but feel a deep affinity with the shark, as if they were linked by an ancient bond that transcended time. Their combined presence conveyed a sense of belonging. This incident proved to be a watershed moment for Sophie and the community. Sophie's commitment to marine conservation was increased by the event, which emphasized the necessity of protecting and respecting the natural environment. In reaction, the people felt renewed pride in their cultural heritage, realizing that the great white sharks were more than just ferocious beasts, but beloved emblems of their tradition. The small community saw a stunning metamorphosis in the weeks following the incredible incident. It has grown into a major ecotourism attraction, attracting visitors from all over the world. The popularity of a new tourism industry focusing on environmental sustainability and educational activities to conserve marine ecosystems has increased. Sophie's study and innovative discoveries earned her widespread acclaim and respect among her peers. The story of the woman who a great white shark attacked while kayaking had taken an unexpected turn, evolving into a tale of scientific achievements and cultural heritage protection. Sophie's steadfast efforts continued throughout the years, and she eventually rose to prominence in marine conservation. The once ignored and forgotten community symbolized resilience and exemplified the transforming power of cultivating a solid connection to the natural world. With each passing year, more great white sharks ventured back into the waters off the wild coast to participate in the old customs that honored their existence. They were no longer feared monsters, but instead venerated as protectors of the ocean's delicate equilibrium. As a result, the story of the woman and the great white shark blossomed into a story of unification, bridging the gap between human curiosity and the ocean's unfathomable mysteries. The waters off the wild coast remained a zone of surprise and awe, where traditional customs and modern science coexist. The village stood as a tribute to the indestructible tie between people and the untamed wilderness, permanently entangled in the unending seas as the sun sunk below the horizon, painting the sky with colors of gold and pink. Sophie's expedition was more than just a scientific adventure. It was a meaningful quest that unraveled the threads of nature's mysteries and reconnected the wild coast's residents to their cultural heritage. She had found the hidden secrets of the great white sharks via her persistent quest for information and her passion for marine conservation. She also cultivated a deeper understanding of the fragile interaction between humans and the natural world. Sophie and her team's study has inspired generations of scientists, adventurers, and conservationists to protect the planet's marine ecosystems and the wisdom of old traditions. The once sleeping fishing community became a beacon of hope and an example of how scientific inquiry, cultural reverence, and environmental stewardship could all come together to establish a happy coexistence between humans and nature. The story of Sophie Turner and the great white sharks off the wild coast will go down in history as a transformative adventure, exposing nature's beauty and intricacy, while reminding everyone of the obligation to maintain and love it for future generations. It is a timeless tribute to the limitless wonders that await those who dare to journey into the unknown and discover the mysteries beneath the sea's surface.